Against the Ropes podcast.
Contra las cuerdas.
Against the Ropes podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. AtR podcast. Gio Garcia here alongside Christian Mosqueda. Back for another one, man. Hey, biggest weekend in boxing. You guys know it. We got to talk about it. A lot going on this weekend, Chris. I don't know if in our lifetime we've seen Friday stack, Saturday stack, Sunday stack. That's right. Every single day this weekend, we're going to have a great fight, pound for pound fights, Chris, championship fights, exciting fights. We're excited about it.
Yeah, no, let me just say, Gio, I know that Saudi card was stacked for the boxing fan. This one is stacked for both the boxing fan and for the mainstream fan. And this one's entertaining, Gio. These guys have so many storylines, so much to dissect. It's been crazy all week with the zone footage, with all the Golden Boy stuff, the pressers, everything, dude. So I'm excited for this one. I know the boxing fan, the mainstream fan, they're excited for this one, man. Let's get it going.
All right, yeah. So we're definitely, you guys know, we're gonna talk about Ryan Garcia against Rolando Romero, which is the main event on Friday. That's going down in New York. Of course, we got Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez. Of course, we got Teofimo Lopez against Arnold Barboza Jr. That's Friday in New York, May 2nd. May 3rd, Canelo headlining the face of boxing against Scull, undisputed. And we got Jaime Munguia against Bruno Surace on the undercard, the rematch. And then Sunday, the cherry on top, one of the pound for pound kings of this era, Naoya Inoue against friend of the show, Ramon Cardenas. That's going down May 4th, Las Vegas. So, hey, we're going to have a lot to talk about, man. Go get your popcorn, go get your water, or whatever beverage of choice you're going to choose tonight or whenever you're watching this. But, man, it's going to be an exciting weekend of boxing. However, let's rewind a little bit, man, as people trickle in. We got to talk Chris Eubank Jr. against Connor Ben. The beef, Chris. The beef was real. It stemmed all the way from their fathers fighting back in the day. Quite a few times. What was it? 3 times they fought?
Yeah. No, again, Gio, just on the topic of the UK, Gio, I see that you're wearing your Liverpool jersey, bro.
Let's get it.
I gotta give you a prop, man. Congratulations to Liverpool. Since we're in the UK, before we move into boxing, yeah, congratulations, man. I mean, I'll say it time and time again, dude. I don't have a Premier League team, but I get a little jealous when I see Liverpool fans celebrate, dude. Again, like they got something special out there. So, congratulations. I know you got very emotional when they lifted, that trophy. And again, it's a cool culture, man. Again, we always give props to the UK fans, the UK faithful, man. Again, they get behind their teams, they get behind their fighters, man. And again, dude, that was just an awesome atmosphere there at the Liverpool fans. Great atmosphere over there at Tottenham Hotspur for Eubank Jr. So, dude, again, congratulations, bro. Again, gotta show love to the UK.
I appreciate that. And I'm not going to say much because I don't want to get emotional again. But hey, number 20 feels good. Feels good to wake up a champion. But yeah, let's get this going, man. Shout out to everybody from Liverpool. Eubank Jr., Conor Ben, as we said, the beef was real. The first one was postponed. I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of the build-up wasn't what it was possibly that first time around. I think kind of died down a little bit, but then for me at least, the interest kind of built up a little bit again when Eubank missed weight. He missed weight by half a pound. That cost him, what was it? Was it 500,000? Was it half a milli?
I think so, yeah.
It was a lot of money. It cost him a lot of money, but he fought, and he won ultimately a decision. Chris and I predicted that Eubank would win that decision. On my end, I just thought he was a little too big for Conor Ben, who's usually around 147 pounds, maybe 154. Eubank more of a 168 pounder nowadays. We've heard those rumors of him possibly getting the Canelo fight. This time around, he had to go all the way down to 160. As I said, he missed weight just barely. It looked like he suffered. He looked very dehydrated during those weigh-ins. He did make the follow-up weigh-in the day of, so the fight was on. They gave a great show. I think the fight turned out better than I possibly expected. But yeah, I just think maybe the size difference was a little too much there. Maybe they want to get a rematch going. Maybe when Ben steps up in the weight classes. But for now, I think, hey, Eubank might get a Canelo fight after all, Chris. Usually when you hear those rumors, it's very hard for anyone to say no to Canelo. Maybe Canelo after Saudi Arabia wants to fight in the UK. You never know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I feel like we didn't give this fight the love it deserved, but it started to blow up, especially the last week before the fight. It ballooned up. Again, the atmosphere over there in the UK, it picked up. Obviously, we saw the storylines with the fathers, with Chris Eubank Sr. showing up. Like it was a magical night. And again, maybe not the most technical fighters, but it was a great fight. I agree with Big Bro. C plus fighters, B minus fighters, but you could tell it was not a boxing match. It was not technical. It was not, it was just an all out brawl. And again, I agree, Gio. Chris Eubank Jr. You can see the size there. Gotta give credit. Gotta give props to Conor Ben. I think his stock went up after this fight because you just saw the size disparity, and he still fought on. He fought like a champ. Again, I think his stock has risen. If you didn't like Conor Ben before, you're kind of like, oh man, this guy he's courageous, he's brave. Like came up short. I honestly think he won the majority of the rounds, but it was just the size factor for Chris Eubank Jr. Just was easier for him. It was easier for the judges to give him the round. But again, it was a great fight. I agree with you, Chris Eubank Jr. His name just goes up just with this win. Canelo is lacking opponents. Let's keep it real. Outside of Be Bold, I don't think too many people are clamoring for names. So this one is perfect. Obviously, a much sexier name than Scull. Much easier to sell. Taken to the UK, make a lot of money. I just touched on the base of the UK fans being just amazing. So yeah, man, it makes sense. But yeah, overall, great fight. I gotta ask you, Gio, do you want to see that again? And what did you think of the fathers being in this picture and just adding a layer to this fight?
I think that's what it should have been all along. Eubank Sr. kind of disowned his son. He didn't like all the antics. He didn't like him smashing an egg on Connor's head. But yeah, I think it kind of adds to the storyline. Like I said, the fathers fought a few times. I believe Eubank Sr. had the lead 2-1. I got to look this up, but yeah, I think, as I said, it turned out to be more exciting than I thought. I don't want to spend too much time on these guys, but they put on a good show, and it might just be one of the candidates for the fight of the year at the end of the year. We'll see. We're still pretty early on in the year, about 1/3 there, but we'll see. I don't think we see Eubank again at 160. Might get a Canelo fight before he retires. He's 35 years old. On the other hand, Conor Benn suffers his first loss. He's still 28. We know Matchroom Eddie Hearns was trying to build this guy up as the next guy at welterweight. You see his resume there, Conor Benn. Nothing much there, but he is an entertaining guy. He does bring some level of excitement. So I'm sure he's still going to be around. And Eubank, 35 years old. Yeah, I think his best bet, get that Canelo fight. Not anything crazy either on Eubank's resume. He got knocked out against Liam Smith. Avenged that loss. And has a few wins now in a row under his belt. But yeah, like I said, he better take that Canelo money and probably retire after that. Both men, I agree with Big Bro. A little overrated, but hey, at the end of the day, they gave a good show.
Okay, I think you answered it a little bit, Gio. But as a fight fan, what would you prefer for Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn to run it back, or for them to build up this hype and go find different dance partners?
Yeah, I would build off the hype. Like I said, I think if Ben wants to do it again, probably needs a fight or two in the heavier weight classes, 154, 160, to get accustomed to it. But I'm sure people in the UK wouldn't mind seeing it again. And like I said, if you're Eubank, get that Canelo fight before you retire, man, before anything happens. He's getting older. A lot of people have made a career out of waiting for Canelo. So I think if he were to do that, the time is now.
And final question, Conor Benn, are you a fan of him now? Do you feel like you're kind of you would see his next fight regardless of opponent?
Who, Conor Benn?
Yeah.
I think he made a great showing for himself. I think he earned a lot of respect, and yeah, why not? I would like to see his next fight. I don't know about you.
To me, yeah, I think I like to see his fight now. Again, he was one of those guys that that they're talented, they got potential. Maybe not elite, but he crossed over, in my opinion, and I'd like to see him against the top 15 welterweight now.
Big Bro says, gotta watch the whole fight. Seemed like the last 4 or 5 rounds where most of the action happened. Yeah, and Conor Benn was actually able to rock Eubank a little bit. We talked about this, Chris. Eubank doesn't have the strongest chin out there, but he was able to withstand, that pressure. And like I said, with Ben being a little bit smaller, I think that definitely helped Eubank Jr. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and move on. I think we can get into Friday's action. We're 15 minutes in, so this might be a long show here. Let's go straight into the polls, Chris. We got quite a few votes. As you see there on your screen, I still don't know what they look like. I'll go ahead and press on one of them so you guys can see, but we're going to have some very good action on Friday. And this is what it looks like. This is what's on BoxRec so far. Lavelle Whittington against Reito Tsutsumi. It's only showing 4 fights at the moment. Ryan Garcia, of course, Rolando Romero. Devin Haney against Jose Carlos Ramirez. Teofimo Lopez against Arnold Barboza Jr. And we can start with that one, Chris, because on the fight posters, it seems like this will be the third to last fight for us. Let's go straight to that poll before we get into this. We know that, Teofimo, friend of the show, entertaining guy, Arnold Barboza, also a friend of the show, one of our first guests since way back then. We know him very, very well. We know he's been wanting this fight for a long time. So this is going to be very interesting. And our votes should be interesting. Chris, are we going to vote with the heart? Are we going to vote with our brains? Are we going to have some bias?
Oh man, obviously the bias is going to kick in to an extent. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
All right, so let's. I can go first. All right, I can go first because I am very intrigued to see what this poll looks like. Who will win between Lopez and Barboza? There's about 130 votes thus far. I'm gonna just go ahead and press on this man on top right here, Teofimo Lopez, 77%, 23% Arnold Barboza. My opinion is that Teofimo Lopez will win by decision. I think Barboza can make it close, and if he can catch Teofimo slipping, he might get that W. But I think he's gonna have a perfect night. He's gonna need to have a perfect night, Barboza. We know Teofimo Lopez is strong. He has power. He has speed. He's very agile. He has that championship experience. He's beaten top champions. We're going to go ahead and take a look at his resume right now. And then Barboza himself, he's coming off a good run, beating Jack Catterall in the UK, beating Jose Carlos Ramirez. He's fought through wars. He's outboxed guys. He's knocked guys out. I think this is his moment, and this is going to be a great fight. I think I'm going to favor slightly Teofimo. I'm going to say decision. And yeah, like I said, it's going to be very interesting because we know Arnold Barboza very, very well, Chris.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at it. You're voting with with their brain. You're voting, based on what they've done, levels wise in the sport. Not mad at it. I know you're trying to play catch up, so I'm not mad at it. I think yeah, the polls showed that Teofimo was a big favorite. Obviously, a more recognizable name. Obviously, we know what he's done. Especially early in his career, he's only had one setback, and that's when he was having outside problems. It's well documented. This Teofimo was very focused. So I see why people are voting for him. Again, I think the skill portion favors him. The athletic portion favors him. He's definitely more focused now than when he fought Camboso. So that's scary. Obviously, I have a bias. And I'm gonna go with my bias this time around. I'm gonna say Barboza wins a razor thin split decision. I think he's got the momentum. I think he carries more of a will in this fight. Again, we know that he's been wanting this fight for 5-6 years. He's had to go through, 2 different promotions to get to the spot. He's been denied time and time again. And I feel like there's been times where, fights where we thought he was going to come up short, and he's won him. He's won him razor thin, but he's won him. So he's got that extra factor. What he lacks in, I say, overall elite skill, he makes up with grit and, overall focus. So again, I think it's a very, very tough fight, and you might be right. You might come out of this one with a W, but I'm gonna go with Barboza. I think he edges out a razor thin, but he has to be, like you said, on point 100% of the night. And I think he's gonna have to bust the Cambosos and knock Teofimo once or twice just to win those 10-8 rounds. So I'm gonna say Barboza, split decision. Obviously, going with my heart. I'm a huge fan of Teofimo too. I think he's very entertaining. He's great for boxing. He's been keeping the lights on in the boxing world alongside Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go with Barboza decision.
I hope Barboza humble still, but I doubt it, says Big Bro. Man, yeah, it's gonna be a great fight, and let's look at how they're coming into this one. Barboza and Teofimo. Teofimo, 21 and 113 KOs, 27 years old. He's coming off a win against Steve Claggett, Chris, Jermaine Ortiz, Josh Taylor, Sandor Martin, Pedro Campa. That loss to Cambosos, his last one was 2021, his only loss, actually, in a very close one. Before that, he defeated 2 champions in Vasily Lomachenko. Asterisk for me, still not convinced about that one. And before that, knocked out Richard Comey. He also defeated Nakatani. So he has some good names under his belt. The most obviously notable ones, Lomachenko and Taylor at 2 different weight classes. I like this fight. Both of these men, I'm sure, wanted this fight for a long time. I think Barboza did his thing, getting his name up there in the rankings, getting his name out there. Now signed to Golden Boy, as I said, coming off that Jack Catterall win in the UK, coming off that Jose Ramirez fight as well. That one was in Saudi Arabia. And he defeated other tough guys like Danielito Zorrilla and Alex Saucedo. So he has some names on his resume too. The 33-year-old out of South El Monte, Arnold Barboza Jr., 32-0, 11 KOs. I think this is the right time for this fight. It's going to be an exciting one. This is the one that I would say I'm most excited about, on this card, Chris. And I put that poll up too. Let me pop it up here for you guys. I put that poll up on our channel. Which fight are you looking forward to the most on Cinco de Mayo weekend? People are still going with Garcia Romero, Chris. 46%, 21% only. Actually, second place for Lopez and Barboza with 21%, 18% Canelo Scull, 15% Inoue Cardenas. Man, Ryan Garcia is still proving that he's a popular name. Probably second or third face of boxing, man. He's been out for a year or so, but he's coming back. We'll get into that fight in a little bit, but yeah, I'm excited for this fight between Teofimo Lopez Jr. and Arnold Barboza Jr. This should be a good one, man. And whoever wins, obviously Teofimo's a champion. His name is always going to be up there. It's going to be very interesting to see if he stays at 140 or decides to go up to 47, especially if names like, Ryan, Rolly are up there. Those are entertaining fights for Teofimo, win or lose. And obviously if you're Barboza and you win, now you're on the radar of everyone, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, again, Gio, I'm not surprised. Ryan, obviously, like you said, if not the face of boxing, yeah, he will be. Again, super popular. Everybody wants to see him, especially with that year off suspension. So, all eyes will be on him. But the odd makers have it right, man. Barboza, Teofimo Lopez, the odds are very close. I believe Teofimo is like a minus 200 favorite or something along them lines. I know Arnold is a plus 210 underdog. So it shows how close this fight is. Again, the fights that you mentioned, Gio, Danielito Zorrilla, and the fighter that he fought in the UK, those are fights where I was like, oh, I don't know if Arnold is on, I don't know if he's going to be able to walk away with those wins, and he proved me wrong, and he won those fights razor thin, but won them regardless. He got his hand raised and won 7-5, 8-4. So he's got that in him to lull a fight, to fight his own fight, and I'm banking on that, Gio. Again, we know that Teofimo is the goods. We know he's got elite level skill set. In my opinion, the only thing that is flaunting is the concentration upstairs. But I think he's very focused. Again, just reading body language, he's much more focused. I don't want to say he's scared, Gio, because I don't believe fighters are scared. But I sense a little nervous energy. He didn't want to do the face off. He didn't want to lock eyes. I think he knows it's better just to stay away. Try to play those mind games and try to offset Arnold. But I see a very focused Arnold Barboza. He's got the momentum. I'm hoping and banking on the momentum. Again, these two guys are awesome. They're great for the sport, and I can't wait to see a great competitive fight. I agree with Big Bro. It could be a snoozer as it comes to a technique kind of fight, but I feel like there's too much animosity that a fight won't break out. So I'm hoping for that.
Is that Teofimo Lopez in the Santo mask, Chris?
Yeah, that was him. Yeah. I don't know what that was about, but I just know he's there to entertain. Again, that's the name of the game. That's how you get people excited. That's how you get people to pay for these pay-per-views. So I'm never going to be against entertainment. So again, I got my bias, and I'm rooting for Arnold to win this one. But Teofimo's good for boxing. At the end of the day, the better man will win come fight night.
Yeah, what was up with the mask, Chris? Why was he wearing a mask?
They asked him. They're like, "What's with the mask?" I don't know. I think Teofimo was just being silly. He's just being goofy. I don't know if he was trying to rally the Mexican faithful behind him. I don't know if he was, what he was trying to do there. Maybe he was trying to get under his skin. We know Arnold is obviously Mexican American. Oh my god, I just saw it. Bro, just
What?
saw it. Okay. Good one, good one, good one. That's a good one, Gio.
You know, I didn't even know about the mask. I hope you guys can hear me. I actually never wore this mask before, Chris. I didn't know he had wore the mask. It popped up right here on Google, and I happen to have one from the last time I went to Mexico. I have this mask, so hey, why not? Shout out to Teofimo, trendsetter. Hope you guys can hear me.
What's up with the mask at the press conference, Dale?
Hey man, tune in. Tune in May 2nd. Insert random quote. Insert random quote.
Okay, no, again, I think it's gonna be a great match. Gio, again, I know we've interviewed both guys. We had both guys on the show. You've interviewed Teofimo on more than one occasion. How do you think this fight plays out, Gio? Decision? Do you feel like there's some knockdowns traded?
Hopefully, I don't think so though, man. I don't think so.
Mhm.
I don't think so. But let's go ahead and move on, man. I want to take this mask off, so can't even breathe in this thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on. What do we have next, man? Of course, we got Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez. The co-main event, Chris. Devin Haney is now the undercard on a Ryan Garcia card, Chris. Obviously, Ryan Garcia, the main event. Devin Haney. Look at that. 31-0, Chris. Do you believe that? Should we believe Google?
No. Again, we saw that beat down again. I get it. I understand they're upset. I understand that Ryan failed the drug test. I get all that, but those knockdowns were there. Everybody saw it. Nobody expected Ryan to land those. We all thought that David Haney had, I don't want to say Mayweather-esque defense, but we thought he was more sound than that and that he wouldn't get caught with that. But it just shows, that Ryan's speed can get you. And so, yeah, I know there's been a lot of drama. I don't know if you've been paying attention to this Bill Haney, Oscar de la Hoya, Ryan Garcia, back and forth. But it's entertainment. That just builds up this whole fight weekend even more. And man, we're here for it, man.
All right, so Devin Haney, 31-0 asterisk. Obviously, 15 KOs. Let me pull that up for you guys so you guys can take a look at it. Coming off that Ryan Garcia no contest is what they're calling it. But we all saw it, as Chris said. He got manhandled in that one. Took an L. Regis Prograis, good victory for him. Lomachenko, another asterisk there. Cambosos twice. Joseph Diaz, Jorge Linares. And that's when he was fighting the older veterans. And Jose Carlos Ramirez coming off a loss to Arnold Barboza Jr. It's kind of surprising that he gets this fight, but probably just a bounce back fight for Devin Haney. I'm going to just say it straight up. I think Devin Haney wins by decision. Jose Carlos Ramirez, 29-2, 18 KOs, 32 years old. He's not that old, but he sure does fight like it, Chris. He fights like an old man. He doesn't move his head. I think that jab is going to be on his face all day. And yeah, I have Devin Haney. I think he shouldn't have too much trouble with Jose Ramirez at this stage of his career. Let's go ahead and go with the poll. I'm just going to click on Devin Haney here. 47% out of the nearly 140 votes. 47% are saying Haney. 53 Jose Ramirez, Chris.
Wow. That is interesting, man. That is interesting. That's interesting. Again, I mean, obviously we have a mixture of boxing fans and mainstream fans. Demographics obviously have to play a factor in that. Most boxing fans would favor Devin Haney. Most boxing fans would say what you just said, and that he's gonna box his way to a decision. We kind of feel that Ramirez is past his prime and he's a little too one dimensional. for Devin Haney. I mean, even Devin Haney is right when he says that he's tailor made for him. So that's a little surprising, Gio. But I don't know. Maybe people are seeing that Devin Haney's paying more attention to Ryan Garcia than the guy in front of him. I know that Ramirez early on said this. The media's disrespecting me. Devin Haney's giving me more respect, but I don't know, man. The last couple of days, Gio, I feel like Devin Haney, Bill Haney have been more focused on Ryan as opposed to the guy that's in front of them. And again, this is boxing. I don't think Ramirez shocks him, but hey, one punch, the right guy with the right mentality, with the right game plan can shock you. So again, I think Ramirez feels like he can upset, and I think a lot of the fans that voted that way think so too. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just trolling Devin Haney. I feel like changing my vote just to troll him, just so Jose Ramirez can have a bigger percentage there. But yeah, as Big Bro says here, should be a shutout. If Ramirez wins 2 rounds, I'll be shocked, he says.
Yeah, I want to give Ramirez more credit. Again, I don't see him winning, but I do see him winning uh more than 3 rounds in my opinion, you know. At least 4. I think he makes it more complicated than what people are giving him. Again, he was great at what 135, 140. He had this high volume punching that brought him a lot of success, that brought him a title. So I think he feels like he needs to reverse the father time. I don't think he does it, but again, this is boxing, Gio. Anything can happen, and maybe Devin Haney's more shook up from the Ryan Garcia fight than he's letting on. So yeah, I just want to see a competitive fight, Gio. Obviously, I'm going with Devin Haney, but if I see a competitive fight and I see Ramirez winning, I won't be mad at that.
All right, and let's go ahead and move on to the main event, which is supposed to be in Times Square, Chris, supposedly free for the fans. I'm hearing it's invite only for the people around the ring, and possibly the sections outside of that area will be free for fans. But we'll see how it turns out, man. I saw a setup of the ring and how they were putting that together, or trying to put that together. I think Ring Magazine posted a video on their Instagram. So that should be pretty cool, and I'm sure a lot of eyes on that. I'm sure a lot of them see a ring, see that Ryan Garcia billboards everywhere, and are kind of wondering what's going on. Hopefully that helps bring more eyes to this. But yeah, let's get into that main event. Ryan Garcia, Rolando Romero. This is also a fight that's been brewing for so long between these two. It stemmed apparently from those sparring videos back in the day. We had Rolly on our show around that time period, and all he talked about was those sparring videos. This is when he had a few pro fights under his belt, and he went on there and talked smack about Ryan. I'll bring some of those clips back, Chris. I'll post some of them on Instagram and on YouTube, so you guys can take a look at it. A young Rolly beefing it with Ryan. Now they fight. I think it's a good comeback fight for Ryan Garcia. Suspended after 1 year for those alleged banned substances in the fight against Devin Haney. Won that fight against Devin Haney. They turned it into a no contest because of that. Suspended a year, and now he is back against his longtime rival, Rolly Romero. And I would say most people are expecting, Ryan Garcia to win this fight, even after the layoff. Probably is not going to hurt him that much. Rolly Romero, 16-2. He lost his 2 fights versus one versus Isaac Cruz and one versus Gervonta Davis. He was stopped in both of them. 16-2, 13 KOs for the 29-year-old Rolly. Ryan Garcia on the other hand, 24-1, 20 KOs. That lone defeat also to Gervonta Tank Davis. And this is going to be an exciting fight, Chris, entertaining. I'm a little disappointed in myself that I haven't really paid attention to the build-up, but maybe tomorrow I'll try to check out some of those media events and all that. But yeah, let's get into it. What do you think? Who's going to win? Is this going to be an exciting fight? Have you enjoyed the build-up? Give us your thoughts.
Well, let me just say shout out to Rollies. I mean, you said it. He called into our show early on Super funny. I think he cursed more than he said non-profane words, but I mean, it was all entertainment. Again, he's grown on me the last couple of years, and again, it's nice to see him, in this position, making millions. This is definitely going to be his highest payday. Again, I feel like he hasn't been trash talking as much. I feel like he's grown on a lot of people throughout this process. He seems more mature. I kind of miss the trash talking Rolly, but I mean, I like to see him grow and mature. So having said that, I think this is gonna be something similar of a poor man's Oscar de la Hoya versus Ricardo Mayorga, and we saw how those turned out. It's a good little style matchup. Obviously, Ryan Garcia more of the boxer technician. Romero is more of a slugger, and he's gonna be throwing bombs, hoping to catch Ryan with something big. And if he can, I feel like Ryan's chin could be tested. I don't see that happening. I see Ryan landing, that technique before Rolly's lands anything of significance. But I think it's gonna be entertaining as long as it lasts. And again, when the Devin Haneys and the Ryan Garcias are more focused on each other, you're ignoring the guy that's being overlooked. Again, this is boxing. You can't take your eye off that opponent. Any fight, any punch can change their lives. So again, I don't favor the percentage to Rollies, but he's a big puncher. So again, I see Ryan stopping Rolly, and again, Rolly's a cool dude, funny dude, good for boxing, entertaining. He's made the most out of the opportunities he's been given. So like I don't think he's taking this for granted. I know he's locked in, he's focused, he's in shape. But I don't see it being any different than the Pitbull Cruz fights and the those fights where he's got knocked out, unfortunately. What do you think, Joe?
All right, so you got Ryan by stoppage. He's in a KO Rolly.
Yeah, I think so. I'm
All right.
gonna say that. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, that's my prediction too. I think a left hook. Bah! And I think, unfortunately, I think Rolly might go down. He probably won't get up, but yeah, man, shout out to Rolly. As I said, friend of the show, entertaining guy, cool guy. But man, I think that Ryan left hook, man, if somebody who was supposed to have good defense like Devin Haney couldn't figure that one out, I don't think Rolly's gonna figure it out. But yeah, let's go do a brief recap. You got Barboza by decision. Haney by decision. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then Brian by KO. I'm going with Dale by decision. Haney by decision. Brian by KO.
We're split on one, Jill. We're split on one. That could be the difference maker. And again, I see why you voted with the majority of the people. Again, I'm banking on Arnold's momentum. I'm banking that he slows down the fight, and I'm hoping I'm right when I'm reading Teofimo's body language. Again, Teofimo, I'm used to him being ultra confident, talking smack, but he's a little subdued this time. So I don't know. Maybe he's not all that confident, but we'll see what happens on fight night.
All right. So the poll here, 156 people, 88% are saying Ryan Garcia. Only 12% are saying Rolly Romero. So big advantage there. Our audience thinks in favor of Ryan Garcia. Again, Haney 47%, Ramirez 53%. Our audience is saying, and Teofimo 78%. Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza Jr. 22%. And as I said earlier, I touched on this. The majority of our audience think or are more excited for the Ryan Garcia Romero fight over Lopez Barboza, over Canelo Scull, over Inoue Cardenas.
That is, I mean, again, it's whether we like it or not, it's popular fighters prevail. And again, Ryan Garcia's been out of the square circle for more than a year. There's a lot of controversy, with that Devin Haney fight, and that's been really the selling point. We even saw the promo, that they put out. I think it's one of the best promos I've ever seen. And again, people are hoping that they win, so they see each other later on in the year. But yeah, man, not surprised that the main eventer Ryan Garcia is the fight that most people are looking forward to.
Yeah, so that's that for Friday. An exciting Friday, Times Square, DAZN. And as we spoke on it last week, you can pay $90 on the Zone pay-per-view for the Ryan Garcia card and the Canelo card, which isn't bad. You get a ton of good fights for $90 total, or you can buy them separately, and it's going to be a whole lot more. But let's go ahead and move on to the Face of Boxing Saturday. He is
Before we move on, let me ask you this. How big would it be and how detrimental to boxing would it be if Rolando Romero were to put the biggest upset in and somehow beat Ryan Garcia?
It's possible, Chris. It's possible. I think that if that happens, they get a rematch.
All right. Before we move on, Gio, what are the percentages? What percentage do you give Ryan Rollies?
80-20.
80-20. Okay. Barboza Teofimo.
60-40. Teo.
40. All righty. And Haney Ramirez.
95-5.
Hey. You're giving Rollies bigger chance than Ramirez. Okay. I'm not mad at that. All right, cool.
Hey,
I'm mad at that.
Don't make me put my mask back on.
All right.
What you got?
I say Ryan Rollies 70-30. I say Haney Ramirez 75-25. And Teofimo Barboza, I think that one honestly is, I think it's 52-48 in favor of Teofimo, to be honest. But I think Arnold's gonna have to dig deep and switch that up. So I just percentage wise, Arnold's gonna have to work harder and much harder than he's ever worked to flip that script. So let's go. Vámonos.
Hey, look, Teofimo struggles against boxers, all right? That is no secret. Sander Martin. I don't think he won the fight against Lomachenko. Kambosos was able to beat him. Obviously, he had that condition that they've found out about after. To go along with all the distractions, his divorce, all that stuff. But if Arnold and his dad can come up with a great game plan, they can steal that one, man. So it's gonna be exciting. But as I said, let's go ahead and move on. The Face of Boxing is also fighting this weekend, Cinco de Mayo weekend. We all expected him to fight. 62 and 239 KOs for the 34-year-old Saul Canelo Alvarez. He's fighting William Scull for all the titles. Scull at the moment has the IBF 23-0 coming into this fight, undefeated, 9 KOs out of Cuba, 32 years old, allegedly, in Cuban years, 32 in Cuban years. Not much on his resume there, as you can see. Not sure how he got the title, but he has it. Canelo was stripped of that title, as the IBF usually does. You see Canelo there, his previous fights: Edgar Berlanga, Jaime Munguia, Jermel Charlo, John Ryder, Gennady Golovkin, Dimitri Bivol, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and the names go on and on and on. Canelo looks like a stay busy fight. Looks like a fight that Turkey was excited about. Obviously, everyone wants the Face of Boxing to work with them. It seems like an opportunity to get this title back, and then it all points to that Terence Crawford fight in September. If he's able to win, of course, Crawford's going to wait for him. He's not taking any chances, as he typically doesn't. Right, Chris? He's going to wait around for Canelo and try to fight at 168, cash in, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think this is a good fight for Canelo to get the title back, get a W, get a KO. He's fighting in front of a new crowd, so that should be exciting. And before we go into our predictions, I did see this interview by Zizou Amayuf. He's an Arabian fighter. He has about 5 pro fights. I used to see him train over here with Buddy McGirt in LA. He had an interview on DAZN, and he talked about how big of a deal it was to have Canelo in Saudi Arabia. He says, I went to the gym, Didn't know Canelo was going to be in there. I saw a whole 2-hour workout of Canelo and said he was very inspired. And since that day, he's been stepping up his game in the gym. So just kind of that effect that, the face of boxing now gets to have around the world. He did mention, and his team mentioned, that was one of the things they wanted to do, travel possibly to Japan, possibly to the UK. Now they're doing it in Saudi Arabia, and you see the effect already. So we'll see if he does ever fight again in Saudi Arabia, but it seems like that Turkey Canelo duo can be a good one for boxing.
Yeah, again, anytime they face a boxing fights, it's a treat, man. Again, we're not gonna have him forever, so we gotta tune in for the greats while we still have them. So again, no disrespect to Scull, but I see that record, and again, I respect the Cuban style so much. I think it's one of the most pure boxing styles, in the sport, and it's tricky for anybody. But when I see the knockout percentage, when I see the names on there, as much as a technician as you are, he's no Arislan Lara, in my opinion. Again, he's going to find out that there's levels. He's going to come up short. He's going to walk out of this one a much richer man. He's going to become a much better fighter from this learning experience. We saw, fighters that have fucking out, they just raise their level after that, as you just mentioned, just that little example with Zizou. So again, he's going to come out this a winner no matter what, even though he's not going to walk out with his hand raised. But yeah, it's very hard to find an opponent, that can get us excited, in my opinion, right now for Canelo, unless your name Benavides, unless you're in those higher divisions with those names like Be Bold. But yeah, Scull, again, he's probably a very good technician. I'm sure a fine amateur fighter. He's got a polished record, but he hasn't been in there with the very big names. So again, I think he's gonna look good for a moment, but then I think we'll see what Canelo does, and he does the same thing. He turns it up a level and he starts to take over, and that's what I expect. Again, I think the question, Gio, I got to ask you: do you think that Canelo, gets a knockout? Do you think we've seen the fighters, the Manny Pacquiao, the Floyd Mayweathers, towards the end of their career, they don't get as many knockouts. So do you think that Canelo can get a knockout this time around or not?
Yeah, he should be able to. I'm on Google right now. Some odds are as low as -3,000 for Canelo, with plus 1,300 about for Scull. So even Jaime Munguia is still a big favorite in his fight, his rematch, after getting stopped by the man that he will be fighting in the rematch. So yeah, I think Canelo should be able to get a KO, and that's my official prediction.
Hey, okay. See, there's certain guys, Gio, that I was like the Triple G's. There's certain guys I was like, I know they're gonna get a knockout. They're the Triple G's of the world. They know how to go to the body. They know how to go to the head with certain opponents that are not at their level. I don't know
KO or not, Chris. KO or not. Come on.
No, again, I don't know if Canelo. I don't know if he's got. Obviously, he's always gonna have that killer instinct, but we saw it with Munguia. Like he holds that back a little bit. I think, in my opinion, he could have knocked out Munguia if he wanted to. He just held back. That fight with Cotto, we knew he could have knocked him out, Gio. Let's not kid ourselves. But he held back. So I don't know if, because they're definitely not at his level, Canelo kind of like takes his foot off a little bit and lets them like kind of go the distance. So I feel like he doesn't want to hurt these fighters nowadays, Gio.
KO or not, Chris. That's all we want to know. KO or not.
I'm gonna say, man, there's levels. So yeah, I'm gonna say he gets a late knockout. I think he owes it to the public. Cinco de Mayo.
That's all you gotta say, Chris. That's all you gotta say. KO. Yeah. That's it.
Canelo knockout, but I'm not confident. I'm not confident in the knockout.
All right.
Easy win though. Easy money.
Munguia versus Surace. So last time out, Jaime Munguia suffered a second defeat. This time against the unknown at the time, Bruno Surace. 25-0 now. Only 5 knockouts. He was going into that fight with 4 knockouts. The 26-year-old Frenchman. He had never fought in Munguia's weight class. He had never fought outside of France. He had never fought in the state in Mexico. And he went out there, KO'd Munguia on the 6th. Shocker. One of the biggest upsets you'll ever see. Now they're running it back. Will Munguia get his get back 44-2, 35 KOs? The 28-year-old Mexican fighter out of Tijuana, Baja California. Chris, what do you think?
I say he gets his get back and he knocks him out. I don't see lightning striking twice. So yeah, Munguia by knockout.
Munguia knockout. Woo. Damn.
What are you going with?
Yeah, I'm gonna say knockout too because he was close to getting it in the first fight. Let's not forget. So, I think he just got caught. Let's see, man. Let's see if Surace really goes in there with a ton of confidence, or if he's imparting and enjoying that check ever since. We'll see what Surace we get, but yeah, I think Munguia should be able to stop Surace. I think he needs to for himself, just to prove it to himself, that he's really back. I think even if he wins a decision, I don't know if he'll be happy with that. So I'm going with Munguia, a KO as well.
Gio, if Surace does the same thing that he did in Tijuana, is Jaime Munguia done?
1,000%. 1,000% he's done if that happens to him. I think so.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but I agree. I don't think guys at that weight class lose their chin resistance. But if he gets knocked out again by a guy with only 6 knockouts now, man, I would be shocked. And yeah, I would say that Munguia is done.
All right, let's talk about chin resistance. Martin Bakole, 21-2, 16 KOs, 33 years old. He's fighting F.A. Ajagba, who was coming into the fight 20-1, 14 KOs. Ajagba coming off a couple good wins. He lost to Frank Sanchez back in 2021, and Bakole's coming off that recent KO loss to Joseph Parker. Came into that fight essentially with no training camp, no preparation. This fight was in February, man. This I'm a little worried about this one for Martin Bakole, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, this one obviously if that fight with in Saudi Arabia doesn't happen for Bakole, you definitely have to favor him against FA. Again, these are two of the biggest punchers in that heavyweight division. We know that they're known for knockouts. So yeah, this one, even though Bakole is a favorite, Gio, I think he's a minus 200 favorite. It is scary. I think 2 months removed from that fight is a little too soon. I think if the right punch, connects for FA, he can shock and get his knockout. So I don't know. This one makes me nervous. I know a lot of people are favoring Bakole, but this is a dangerous fight. I think it's too soon. I think he still gets the job done, but this one's dangerous, man. I think I'm gonna let you go first, Gio. I think
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Gap of 3 months after getting stopped. He was coming off that good win against Jared Anderson here in LA, stopped him. FA, still a very dangerous fighter, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go Bakole. I'm gonna go KO simply because, man, getting a decision as a heavyweight, always tough, man. Always tough to go those 10, 12 rounds. So I'm gonna just say KO Bakole, but I'm not too confident in that one, man. I like FA.
See, I like them both. I want to say I like Bakole more. I like his humbleness. I like his aura. I feel like I gotta go with my brain this time, Gio. Even though I feel like Bakole is like that huge wave that just weathers you down, I think it's too soon. I think that chin is suspect. Again, it's just too soon. I'm gonna go the other way, and if I'm wrong, I'll be fine because I like Bakole. But I'm gonna say Efe. I think Efe picks a perfect shot, and I don't think Bakole recovers. Again, I've never seen Bakole in that position. I thought that he had this great chin, and I think it's the wrong guy. F is, in my opinion, a bigger puncher than Joseph Parker. So for that reason, I'm gonna make you shaking your boots a little bit, Gio, and I'm gonna go with F.
First of all, as a Liverpool fan, we're never scared, Chris. All right, we never walk alone. Our boots never shake. Okay, let's get that straight. You know,
He was a Liverpool fan. Come on now.
I said I am. I said I am. All
Okay,
right,
for
I said
sure.
I am. All right. But yeah, I'm not mad at that. I think it's a 50-50 fight because of all the circumstances. So yeah. Battle Jack is also on the card. And Marco Verde, who will be making his pro debut. Marco Green, if you guys remember the Olympic medalist for Mexico, he got a silver, I believe. So he signed to the Canelo team. He's going to be making his pro debut. That should be exciting. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We don't want to seem like we're skipping over these, but we still have a whole other card on Sunday. We went over Friday's action, Saturday's action. Now we're moving on to Sunday. But just to recap, Chris is going with Barboza decision, Haney decision, Ryan KO, Canelo KO, Munguia KO, Ajagba KO. I'm going with Teo decision, Haney decision, Ryan KO, Canelo KO, Munguia KO, Bacoli KO. So that brings us to, like I said, the cherry on top. Naoya Inoue, the monster, 29-0, 26 KO for the 32-year-old out of Japan. He's not fighting in Japan this time. A lot of fans were asking for it. I'm not sure it makes a difference or not. I think the only difference is probably 30,000 people in the stands that that he fills up. It's probably going to be a good 15, 20 here. He does 50 people stadium, Chris. 50,000 people he puts over there in those stadiums in Japan. Over here, the arenas are going to be a little smaller, probably a little less money for Naoya Inoue, but I'm sure he's taking it as a challenge. He's fighting good friend of the show, Ramon Cardenas, 26-1, 14 KOs for the 29-year-old out of San Antonio, Texas. He last fought Brian Acosta, suffered a knockdown in that one, but ultimately won by decision. And he's a guy who was knocking on the door. He wanted this fight. He's the only one who seemed to answer this call, Chris, and he's got the biggest fight of his life. I'm sure the biggest purse of his life, biggest challenge of his life, biggest exposure of his life, and this should be an exciting one, man. Cardenas, Inoue, pound for pound, top 2, top 3 for most people. And now he's looking to completely wipe that division. He's looking to face MJ next. Not sure if Ramon has taken that as disrespect. I know you've been hanging out with him a lot this training camp, but yeah, they're saying after Naoya's win, he's gonna face MJ. So we'll see. We'll see if Ramon can ruin those plans.
Yeah, no, you said it, Joe. I've been hanging out over there with Joel Diaz. Getting a bird's view of everything that's going on. They're working extremely hard. Again, they know, we know, the whole world knows this is one of the biggest assignments in boxing. When we think of hardest fights, we think of Inoue, we think of Canelo, we think of the Bowls, we think of Usyk. Like, these are the toughest assignments in the game. And obviously, like, he's not shying away from all the negative comments. He knows what people are saying. He knows everybody's saying he's gonna get knocked out. He knows. He reads. As much as you want to shut that out, it's too much of that information is coming in. So again, he knows it's a tough assignment. We know it's a tough assignment. We know if we vote with our brains, we know who we would go. But I don't know, man. He knows he needs to shock the world, Gio, and I'm gonna do something crazy, Gio. I'm gonna lock in this vote, biased and all, but I think we're gonna have the shocker of the year, Gio. I'm gonna lock in Ramon Cardenas for a knockout. And again, I know I know it's probably something crazy, but his team, he knows. I think he knows that he's gotta do something to disconnect the monster from all of his skills, all of his talents. And I think he knows that it's the most difficult thing to win a decision against a monster. We know that he's that skilled. You're not gonna win too many rounds. So I think he knows he has to go for a knockout. And I'm gonna lock that in, Gio. I'm gonna lock that in for the homie. I'm gonna lock that in for a friend of the show. I don't mind being wrong, but Cardenas, knockout, Gio.
Wow. Chris is going for it. Hey, man, if you get this right, everyone's going to come back to this video. Everyone's going to come back to this video. Hey, like I said, Chris has been out there in the training camp, so he's been witnessing the work firsthand. And hey, like I said, everyone's going to watch this video if you get it right. This man is going to go viral, all right? I don't want to go viral. I don't like attention, Chris. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with what most boxing fans think will happen. I'm gonna go with Naoya Inoue. However, I'm gonna say decision. I think Ramon can win a lot of those rounds, Chris. You know, Luis Neri was able to take Inoue to deep waters for those couple of rounds. I think Ramon Cardenas comes into this fight in a better moment than Neri was when he fought Inoue. He has power, he has speed. Let's see that chin. Is going to test that chin. If he can withstand that pressure, withstand that power, I think it could be a long night for Inoue. I think in a way Inoue will be overlooking him a little bit. As I said, they're already talking about the possible MJ fight. I think Cardenas can take advantage of that. Yeah, I think he can make it close. But as you said, it's hard to win a decision against Inoue.
And again, Gio, again, we sometimes underestimate the skill of these Mexican fighters. Again, when we think back of those fights in those lighter divisions, I mean, a lot of those fights between Mexican and Asian fighters, the technique has to sometimes favor the Mexican fighters. We've seen the Morales, the Barreras, they were winning a lot of those rounds against said legend like a Pacquiao. It just Pacquiao has that power changing, like shot. So again, yeah, I agree with you. Ramon could very easily win a few rounds and try to do that, but I don't know, man. That left hook, I think he knows he can land it. If he lands it right in the perfect spot, they can change things. Again, I know a lot of people will not side with me, and understandably so. Again, this is one of the biggest assignments in boxing. We know how sound Naoya Inoue is. They don't call him a monster for no reason. So tough assignment, but oh man, again, I think Ramon wants to have his his Marquez Pacquiao moment, and hey, it could happen.
Yeah, man. I did see a lot of the footage that you sent over. I'm still gonna post some of the videos, but yeah, that left hook is serious, man. There's some serious power in that left hook. So, man, this is gonna be an exciting fight. I know Joel Diaz is confident. I know they're confident in Ramon's power, his speed. So, yeah, it's gonna be great. And Ramon has been training with MJ, right? They've been doing all the conditioning work. I'm sure Ramon is saying, "Hey, man, sorry, buddy, but I might have to get this W over your possible future opponent." But yeah, shout out to AMAW. He says, "Hello, boxing fans, Chris, Gio, and chat. My small contribution to Appreciation Fund. Just listening and at work, hands busy." He says, "Subscribe, share, and smash that like button, folks." That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you, man. MVP. Appreciate it.
And again, Gio, this build them complete opposite from the Ryan Garcia and that triple header, man. A lot of respect shown between both fighters. Obviously, we know that sometimes the media wants to, start some stuff, and it's cool when you try to start some stuff. It's good for entertainment, but we know that you don't stir the pot with the monster, man. You don't want to give him added motivation. So again, a lot of strategy going into the media presses and all of that. But again, a lot of respect between these two fighters, and I know there's a lot of Japanese people are going to come out and support their legend, their living legend in the Naoya Inoue. But yeah, man, again, can't overlook any opponent. So again, I'm expecting a very competitive fight, and I hope we get a shocker again. We respect our fighters, Gio. Again, all these guys, they do something that we don't do, man. They do something that most people behind the screen don't do. So again, we gotta respect each and every single one of them for giving us this level of entertainment.
Yeah, man, and I think people were underrating Cardenas. I think they're sleeping on him. We see some of the odds minus 3,300 for Inoue, plus 1,700 for Cardenas. Let's see, minus minus 1,000 for the KO. Yeah, the odds are very, very wide. You guys can see them there. Obviously, they vary. Obviously over time and per your source, but yeah, they're not giving Ramon much of a chance. Like you said, I'm sure he's read some of it. You know, he's tuned most of it out. He told us when we had him on the podcast a few weeks ago. But we know he's read some of them, and I'm sure most of those comments are saying he's going to lose to the pound for pound monster Naoya Inoue. So hopefully that motivates him, and hopefully that gives us a great fight, because I feel like they have a great opportunity to steal the show. The fight being on a Sunday, Cinco de Mayo weekend, all these great fights on Friday and Saturday. And like I said, this is the cherry on top, undisputed fight. So best of luck to Ramon Cardenas. Shout out to the monster, and hopefully they give us a great show.
Yeah, and again, Gio, it's been all love behind the scenes, man. He's got a blog out there. You guys can check that out. I make a little cameo, man. It's been good times, fun times. But yeah, man, just been around those guys. I think you know, just having, you know, that camp with, you know, 3-4 of the top 20, you know, guys in that division, it serves them well. Again, Naoya Inoue is a generational talent, but I mean, even the great Pacquiao has lost. So yeah, man, I'm excited for this fight. I'll be nervous throughout this whole fight, but man, what a weekend of boxing, Gio. We're gonna be a little spoiled this weekend.
Very spoiled this weekend. Very, very spoiled. So yeah, excited for it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Big Bro says he know it within 5. Man, hey, Chris, you if Cardenas wins, you'll be able to tell a lot of people that you told them so. All right. So get your screenshots ready, your screen recordings. All right. I think that's all we got, Chris. Great weekend of boxing, as I said. Friday, February 2nd, Ryan Garcia, Rolando Romero, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza Jr. Saturday, May 3rd, Saudi Arabia, Saul Canelo Alvarez, William Scull, Jaime Munguia, Bruno Surace, the rematch. Sunday, May 4th, Las Vegas, Naoya Inoue, Ramon Cardenas. And we're also going to have Rafael Espinoza against Edwin Vazquez, Chris. I think that's another good fight to include in our predictions. Rafael Espinoza, of course, they had to, you know, throw in a Mexican name there to entice more people to come out to Vegas on a Sunday, to that T-Mobile Arena. Rafael Espinoza, 26-0, 22 KOs for the 31-year-old out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Got that TKO victory against Robeisy Ramirez last time out. Won his belt from Robeisy Ramirez. And now he's defending it against Edward Vazquez, who we've seen fight a couple times, 17-2. Only 4 KOs for the 29-year-old out of Fort Worth, Texas. Give us your thoughts on this. I have my prediction. I have my mind made up on this one.
Wait, say that again, Gio. Which fight?
Predictions. Rafael Espinoza against Edward Vazquez.
Oh man, I don't think you could go against Espinoza, Gio. He's got the momentum. He's such a tall, lanky fighter for that division. You know, again, he's got a no opponent's easy, but I think right now the momentum is with Espinoza. I have to say knockout, bro. I think he showed us who he is against El Tren, and underrated fighter, and showed us just how good he is.
Yeah, I'm going with knockout. He has good power. He has the size. He has the title. And Edward Vazquez, no disrespect, I just don't think he's on his level. And I think this is a good opportunity for Rafael Espinoza to shine, keep it moving, and then get another big fight. Again, no disrespect, but yeah, I think there's levels to this. But we'll see. We'll see if Vazquez can make it competitive. But I think El Divino wins by KO. I actually saw him in person He was out here in some of the fights at Commerce Casino. I didn't go up to him or talk to him. I wasn't even sure it was him. He was tall, Chris. I was like, there's no way that's him. He's super tall and super skinny. And then I asked someone and they were like, yeah, that's him. And I was like, dang, that dude, no diddy. He has some size. No diddy. But yeah, he's a tall guy, man. I don't know how he makes, what is it, 126? That's insane.
That's crazy, man. Again, that gives him an advantage, but if you can get down to that weight, that takes discipline, that takes a lot of hard work. If you can do that, man, yeah. And I don't feel like he balloons like a weight bully. He's just lanky like that. That's just his body. So how did he? But yeah, man. Again, I see him just winning this one easy.
All right, and I think that's that for today. Chris, you have anything to add?
Nah, again, this is the boxing weekend of the year until they give us something better. But yeah, don't make plans with a girlfriend. Tell the girlfriend like, hey, you're hanging out with me. We're watching this. Like, cancel all the plans. Don't call. Don't come into work. Don't work no overtime. Enjoy this weekend of boxing. I feel like it's gonna be such a memorable weekend. Again, Cinco de Mayo. You know, it's so huge. And again, off the heels of that Conor Ben Eubank, man. This is the grand buffet, man. Again, I'm excited to see all of these fights, face of boxing, the future face of boxing, the one of the future greats, a friend of the show, friends of the show, like competitive matches. I mean, this weekend has it all, Gio.
Yes, sir. And just to clarify, all right, we mentioned this earlier. $90 will buy you both pay-per-views: Ryan Garcia, Rolando Romero, and Canelo Alvarez versus William Scull. $90 on the Zone pay-per-view. Turkey didn't pay us to say this. I promise. I wish he did. Shout out to Turkey. Big Turk. But there you have it. The main fights in the undercard: May 2nd, New York; May 3rd, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabia card now is going to be regular time. Whatever regular time is. Whatever regular time you watch the fights at. 7, 8, 9 p.m. depending on where you are. Probably a little later if you're on the East Coast. But we are getting the fights here Saturday night. It's going to be in the middle of the morning over there in Saudi Arabia to accommodate, obviously, for the market over here in the Western Hemisphere. So you got nothing to worry about. It's going to be prime time for us. And then Sunday, same thing. It's in Las Vegas. ESPN Plus. You don't even have to pay for it if you have ESPN or ESPN Plus. Naoya, Inoue, Ramon, Cardenas, Rafael, Espinoza, Edward, Vazquez, Emiliano Vargas is also on there. So Art Barrera. So man, that should be a good card. And then next week, obviously, we'll break it all down, and then we'll talk about that Navarrete card on May 10th. Our boy Raymond Morataya is also on that one. Our boy Alan Garcia is also on that one. So man, it's gonna heat up. May, it's gonna be hotter than ever. It all starts this weekend with the biggest weekend of boxing, man. It's insane. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I don't remember this in my lifetime. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, nothing but great fights. I'm excited for it.
You said it all, Gio, and they just announced Usyk Dubois is there as well. So it's been a great week of boxing. Again, I can't wait for this weekend. It's a whole buffet again, all 3 days, man. There's gonna be some fights of the years, in my opinion. There's gonna be some knockouts. There's gonna be some highlights, and yeah, man. Again, there's been such a buildup for these fights. A lot of animosity between fighters, between dads. It's crazy, but yeah, man. I'm excited for this weekend, and yeah, dude. Only $90. Turkey didn't pay us, but man, bro, process that resume, bro. We sent that in like a month ago. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. Get the VMCs ready. Get the VMCs ready. Get the VMCs ready, man. It's going to be a big weekend. Let's go, mates.
Vámonos. Let's go.
We will see you
Let's go,
all.
Arnold.
We will see you all next week. Hey, man, you know what? Shout out to Arnold, and also shout out to Tio, man. Let me to bring us out. I'm gonna bring the mask back, man. I can't believe Tio had that mask on, man. But I might rock it to the next show. Who knows? Who knows, Chris? But shout out to them. Shout out to Teo and Barboza keeping that card entertaining. We knew Ryan was going to do his thing. We knew Rolly were going to do his thing. But those guys are really doing their thing as well. Haney's just there, Chris, and Jose Ramirez. They're just there. But the other 4 guys, shout out to them. Respect.
Vámonos. Let's go.
YNWA, mates. You never walk alone. Let's go.
Shout out, Scull. Prove us wrong. Vámonos.
Payday. Payday. I know that.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas, echenle muchas ganas, un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Against the Ropes. Huge shout out to Against the Ropes. Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time out y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.